It's time to give you all a backyard garden update. This space is divided into several sections: the courtyard garden, mossy hill, fern gully, grassy path, compost alley, wall garden, and narrow garden. Today we are focusing mostly on grassy path and lightly touching on part of fern gully. Grassy path is a mowed strip between two garden beds, the bed closest to the garage and the bed along the dry creek that parallels our wooden path. One year we discovered a couple of goldenrods growing near the southeast corner of the garage, so we decided to let it do its thing. The next year we allowed it to expand itself out from the garage. Then we noticed asters were coming up nearby. Now, in fall of 2023, it's finally an extra spectacular show of gold and white. While I'm not 100% sure on the exact species of each, I think we have Solidago altissima and Symphyotrichum pilosum. Either way, both goldenrods and asters are keystone species. According to the National Wildlife Federation, keystone species are native plants critical to the food web and necessary for many wildlife species to complete their life cycle. Without keystone plants in the landscape, butterflies, native bees, and birds will not thrive. 96% of our terrestrial birds rely on insects supported by keystone plants. What's extra wonderful about this patch of goldenrods and asters is that they were completely free. They volunteered. I didn't plant any of them. Not mowing gets judged a lot in the gardening world, but it can work in small gardens and in certain areas of the garden. You never know what's going to come up on its own, so why not try a small patch here and there? That's what we did back here, and it was well worth it. Keep in mind that these species are very aggressive, but since they're native, they by definition are not invasive. They have evolved with the local growing conditions, and so they belong. However, if you have delicate plants you don't want them to encroach on, I totally understand that too. Personally, I'm growing them as free native plants that provide for lots of bees and wasps. They provide for some butterflies too, although I don't see a lot of butterflies on mine. I did capture footage of what I believe to be a pearl crescent butterfly on the asters though. I think that's a host plant for them. Here's the wild ginger in the fern gully area. There's also some obedient plant. I'm hoping I'll get to see some blooms on it this year. And here's some typical garden strawberries. I've also got green poinsettia, which volunteered, and I think it has beautiful red fall color. Next, I want to talk about the yellow jackets. These are a ground nesting type of yellow jacket. They can be very aggressive, but we've been respecting their nests and haven't been stung all year. We simply give them lots of space, and I personally don't walk near their nest right now. My husband mows just feet away from them next to the courtyard path, and they don't care. So I'm sure walking by is probably fine, but I've been taking the cautious route and not going within about 5 or 10 feet of them. If you're allergic, I understand if you can't tolerate them, but look for ways to cope that don't harm our other wildlife if you can. Keep in mind that this time of year they are especially curious and hungry, so don't drink sweet drinks or anything like that outside unless you're protected behind a screen or something. They even come up to me when I water things, so it seems even regular water will attract them. So if you want to take your water outside with you, I suggest something with a good seal that closes well. I have a metal drink container with a screw-on lid that I take out with me sometimes, which helps a lot. They also seem to be attracted to me if I dig up the soil and plant things, so maybe wait and plant when it's a bit cooler or wear pants in long sleeves to help minimize the possibility of stings. They haven't stung me, but they do get so close that they seem to be kissing me at times. Whatever you do, don't swat or step on them. My worry is that I'll accidentally swat or step on one. You don't want to do that because if they're harmed, that could send a signal to the others to come after you. Last year, something ate the yellow jackets we had. This year, they didn't get eaten, so they're thriving right now. Well, kind of. Technically, all of these colonies aren't really thriving anymore. They already reached their peak, so that's why they're so desperate for food and water now. They ran out of their nest reserves, so to speak. So they will be desperate until, I assume, first or second frost. The queens are the ones that stay alive and hide in the winter in a protected location and build a new nest come spring. From my research, all the rest die off. I'm just overjoyed with how this section of garden looks right now. We had to wait a long time, but fall is the perfect time for this garden. Fern Gully and Narrow Garden aren't featured in this video much because they're less conspicuous right now in comparison. In the wall garden, the dogwoods are turning colors for fall, and so are the pawpaws, Virginia creepers, and frostweeds. I haven't seen Chippy or Hoggy in a while. I hope they're doing well. We do have a lot of hawks this year, so that's something to think about. I think there's even a hawk nest in one of my neighbor's tall trees. Here's one of the asters up close. And the silky dogwoods here, starting to turn colors. I just love how the leaves look when they fall in the driveway. Here's the garden from the kitchen window and the wooden path. To the right is Fern Gully. The wooden path leads from one set of steps to the other. I think that's a Carolina wren. The base of the goldenrods get dried out and brown, especially this year. August and September were both almost completely dry. When it did rain in August and September, it was a sprinkle. I think we only had one really good rain in September. Some of my potted plants, and I think this is a wild petunia. I haven't noticed the blooms this year on it, but it did bloom last year. And here are the dwarf crested irises. Here's how this garden looks at ground level. You see the grassy path between the beds. That's where the yellow jackets live, way down there at the far end of the corner of the house. Here's the butterfly puddle I made with a bucket of sand, dirt, leaves, and a rock. The wasps and flies use it more. Haven't really seen a butterfly on it yet. Just look at that. This used to be boring lawn. And now it's full of life. If I have one thought I want to leave you with at the end of this video, it's that you can have a native garden in so many different ways. You can experiment and see what works where you live. Somehow, these gorgeous natives just show up back here. But if I didn't mow my front yard for a whole year, it may not be the same results. Some patches of land will just create different results. You never know what you'll get, and it's fun to just try things and see what happens. And hey, if it ends up being boring invasive grasses like Bermuda, you can just mow it back down. Thanks so much for watching. Happy fall, everyone. Hand-painted collector cards inspired by the creatures, plants, and objects in my garden. Available now at macylou.com. Thanks for supporting the channel and the wildlife habitat we create. To support the channel, like the video, comment, and subscribe. You can also support my work by buying art from me at macylou.com. Thanks for watching!